And obviously the next couple waves aren't as hard as the previous couple waves, but still don't want to completely fall asleep. Here again, this tile here corner traps this melee. If you didn't know, you might have this situation. Whoa, that was a little scary. Oh, it was very scary. Oh my god. No! Oh my god, that is so unfortunate. Oh man. Hey guys, it's Rob here, and as you can see, it's round 2 with the Mage tank setup, and this time we have a slightly different inventory. The only difference we've made is we've changed a restore out for a brew. So we have 9 brews, 8 restores instead of 8 brews, 9 restores, and the reason I made that change is because last video we did end with quite a bit of restore, so figured it's probably a good idea. We can pre-heart there just because the heart's infinite, so that's the nice thing about this setup. And the other really nice thing, and kind of, you might be wondering, why are we starting in our mage robes and not the tank gear? The reason why is because we're actually going to camp prey range all the way until the first mage wave. So it's actually going to make this very, very simple. If you were looking for an Inferno guide that basically shows you how to do it with very minimal mechanics, then you have come to the right place, my friend, because we are not going to be doing anything crazy in this run. And the first thing I want to try to make sure we get down is the wave start procedure. So every wave we're going to send 1 barrage on the nibblers, and then we're going to just clean up the rest of the monsters. Obviously on these early waves it's pretty simple, but it's just always returning to the start tile, making sure you have the right prayer on and the right gear. On the early waves it's pretty easy because the right gear is pretty much just always Virtus. On the later waves, we are going to sometimes be swapping between Bandos and Justy and the Virtus pieces, so it'll get a little bit more confusing, but most of the time in the late waves we just camp our tank gear. So these blobs are actually the most dangerous thing on the early waves. Their mage attack is quite accurate against us, so we got to be a little careful. We want to use Eye of a Yak, and we want to kill him on the bat safe spot tile because this allows us to Phantom Barrage from a couple tiles further back. So if the second barrage is a manual cast here, even if the monster you attack dies, if you're far enough back, you'll cast again, so that's the gist of how that works. Here we'll just finish off the nibblers when we can. It's usually a good idea to safely finish off the nibblers as fast as you can. And general rule of thumb is if a blob is attacking you, you want to use the Eye of a Yak for better DPS over the Kodai Wand. Kodai Wand is really nice because it allows us to Blood Barrage our health back while killing stuff, which is like really, really, really nice. But just be careful that you're not doing it on blobs or you're going to take more damage than it's worth, if that makes any sense. So the main way we deal with blobs is simple. We want to move around the pillar to break line of sight. So see here, I just moved right around the pillar and that makes it so the blob can't attack me anymore. It stops doing the chip damage to me. And this is the only little slightly tricky spot, is you don't want to take too many blob hits, so just be careful about that. So here I'm going to let the blob drag in, so we have the Phantom Barrage spot here, and again we're going to use Eye of a Yak because it's better DPS. One thing I want to mention is don't be afraid to use your brews even on an early wave like this. I would try to not do it if you can, especially when it's literally this early, but be free, feel free to liberally use your brews. Don't hold on to them for, I mean, especially if you're ringing 9 in like this. I think this is the setup I would recommend, is the 9 brew setup. Just gives you like plenty of room. If there's any bad RNG of any sort, just be careful because 7 is our first double blob wave, so we have 2 blobs here. We'll just kill this one, easy enough. And I'm going to be doing things semi-fast, but it's not because I'm trying to like confuse anything. I mean, I'll try to just keep it as simple as possible, and when I can, I'll try to slow down a little bit. But for the most part, I'm not going to be changing my prayer pretty much at all, so it's very, very easy to just blitz through these early waves. The big upside of this method, I will say, a lot of people find the early waves in the Inferno to be a slog and just like not, I don't know, like a lot of people, especially when they compare it to the Coliseum, make sure we get an ice barrage on these. A lot of people, they compare the Inferno to the Coliseum, and it makes sense why a lot of people would prefer the Coliseum, but the one thing that's nice about this method is that you really blitz out the early waves, and it makes it a lot more chill than a default setup, I would say, like the Bofa setup. Just because we have really good DPS on these waves, and we get the imbued heart bonus too, which is nice for the DPS on the early waves. Plus we can heal up very, very easily, which is, you know, goes without saying, that's a huge, huge benefit to any learner cape. So just keep in mind, early waves, because we are camping prey range, the blobs are pretty much our worst enemy. So we're just looking out for blobs, pretty much, and any meleeers that can get to us. If you think about it, everything else is protect against. The bats don't hit us because we're praying range, the rangers don't hit us because we're praying range. So really the blob is the most long-range damaging thing that can hit us, and then the melee is kind of dangerous, but we can also freeze it. So like, for example, here we can just freeze the melee, and then the wave is as good as solved. Sort of. We'll kill the melee so we don't have to deal with it. Just so you do know, I'll just say it real quick at the beginning here. This west side of the pillar, and then this south side of the pillar. So if the melee drags up against the south side, it gets trapped like this, even if the bats weren't here. I know the bats are in the way, but... So just showing this south side, and then this west side are the main spots. And the nice thing is that if you're standing on the start tile, the melee is very likely to get trapped. Any of the melee spawns on the south are very likely to get trapped. That's a very nice thing. 29, that's a blob max hit, so clearly this blob does not like us. But I don't like this blob either. Go away, blob. Can you stop hitting hack? I was gonna say max, but I said high and max. I think I said hacks. Stop hitting hacks on me. And the nice thing about the setup as well is, so here, as you can see, this west side can be used to safe spot the melee. So this west side, and then the south side is also a melee safe spot. Important to know because the melee is one of the dangerous things here. It should be noted though, it doesn't have a very high chance to hit us. As you can see, it's not very likely to hit us. Even with this gear on, even with the Virtus, you might think that it's low defense, but it's actually a bit more tanky against melee than you might think. Alright, we're just looking for something we can kill pretty safely. As you can see, when the monster turns red, that's the plugin Tzhaar HP Tracker. So that's that plugin. And that's pretty much mostly just used for the end of the wave. It's so I know I killed the last monster, and then it basically gives me extra time to prepare for the next wave. Another thing with the melee I wanted to show, if it digs when you're on that start tile, you can simply move to the 50 plus start tile. And that actually just gives us a nice easy safe spot there. So that's very good to know. So those are like the basic melee spots you should know. With the blob, the most important thing to know is just that you can line of sight it around the pillar. So just like in this case, we want to go around the pillar so the blob can't see us. You get a freeze in the melee, and just like that, a pretty hard wave is solved just like that. So, you know, it doesn't feel like it should be legal, but here we are. It almost feels like we're on a speed run because of how easy it is, honestly. And I'm not trying to speed through it, by the way, just for the record. I'm really trying to kind of take my time, but sometimes it is just too easy. With this method, at least. I mean, listen, I don't know about a Bofa first cape, but this is kind of ridiculous. 15, don't fall asleep here. 15 is kind of a difficult wave. There's 2 blobs, and as I was saying, blobs are kind of the most difficult thing to deal with here. Here you'll notice if we get all the way back in this corner here, we actually get 2 attempts at freezing the meleeer, so actually quite a lot of chance to freeze the melee. It's really good odds. As you can see, you can actually blood barrage the blob, it's just not the best DPS, so usually I'd recommend Eye of a Yak in general here, so Eye of a Yak on the blob. And then if you step back far enough, you can Phantom Barrage, so this is an important thing. You see I lost some health, so the first cast, it doesn't matter, you can just manual cast if you want, that's fine. Second cast, you want to use manual cast, and then if it's still alive, you can just keep manual casting, and then eventually when it dies, you'll get a Phantom Barrage. That's nice. And then we want to make sure we clean up this pillar. Now, south and west are mostly nibbler bait pillars, you know, they're not super important to keep alive, but that being said, there is a bit of a misconception where for some reason people like to say that it's fine to lose your pillars early, and really I don't think that's the case. I think you really want to keep them as long as you reasonably can. You just don't want to panic over them, you don't want to die saving a pillar. So that's what I would say about that, but definitely be wary of pillar health even early on. You want to make sure they're not taking too much damage. So here we'll put our prey range back on, we'll get our heart bonus back, get Ice Barrage ready for the Nibbler wave. Very nice having the Mage gear for these early waves, it feels so much better than the regular setup, to be honest. But yeah, I'm just hoping, hopefully in this guide we can find some new situations, because it's always interesting, because the Inferno is just like random spawn, so you never know what you're gonna get. Hopefully we get some good situations to show you guys. So now so far we know how to deal with the blobs. You always want to kill the blobs on the bat safe spot tiles. Kind of counterintuitively. Want to make sure we get that Ice Barrage up there. It was a bit of a mistake. We will try to be very particular about casting an Ice Barrage at the beginning of every wave. I think it's a really important habit. So we'll keep up with that. Make sure prey range is on. Another very easy wave. And if you were wondering about the tile markers, I tried to really streamline them in this guide. I actually changed my tile markers just for this video, or this video and the previous one, I guess. And I mean, I might just keep these tiles going forward because I think they're pretty clean. But if you do want them, they are in the description as always, so make sure you check the description. Also, there's probably a bunch more info about the method in general down there, so take a look down in the description if you want more info about the method. But as of now, we are simply killing the Inferno monsters. Not much to say about this, and here, because we're not full, we're obviously going to healing stick, as I like to call it, also known as Kodai Wand, all the way to full health. So yeah. Right, make sure we get an Ice Barrage ready for the Nibblers. Always want to do that start of every wave. It's a very important habit. And then we want to look for, first of all, if we have to dodge out of the way of any blobs. So here we have a blob on us, so how do we solve a blob being on us? We want to line of sight it around the pillar. So we basically solve the blob by clicking one click when you think about it, which is kind of crazy. Almost wanted to flick that there. Had to hold myself back. It's hard. But here we are, so I'm so excited for this method just because of how accessible it is. Like, I don't really know, like, there can't be that many people that wouldn't be able to do this, I don't think. I mean, the F keys that I'm using are like a little bit complicated, but you don't have to do them either. You could obviously just click the buttons on the bottom, and at triple Jads, admittedly, that becomes a bit of an issue. Not so much an issue, but if you make mistakes, it can be pretty hard to recover if you're not using F keys at triple Jads in particular. Here we got a little cool trick here. If we kill the blob first, we can actually blood barrage everything. So yeah, it's pretty sick, I would say. So yeah, if a blob is ever like behind something, you can kill it, and usually they stack up in a cool way like that, which is honestly just pretty satisfying if nothing else. Wave 24, yet another double blob wave. We want to make sure we're a little careful here. Here we just saw there was a blob on us, so the only things I'm really looking at are the blobs for the most part. I see the nibblers obviously, and I want to kill all them if possible, but the blobs are like the main long-range damage thing on these early waves. But as you can see, it's not really a huge deal even if we take some damage, because we can just heal it all right back up. Ice Barrage, we can go for the finish on the nibs here. Oh, it didn't. That's funny, we hit the meleeer a big hit, but we didn't hit the nibbler for a big hit. That's interesting, but we'll take it. So the next kind of hard wave coming up is wave 31. That's another double blob wave where, again, we're going to be in our Virtus, so... But really all the same rules apply, so want to make sure we sip our prayer regen like the plugin is telling us. And I don't know if I still have them. Oh yeah, these are the two plugins. I put Tzhaar HP Tracker twice, but these are the two plugins, Tzhaar HP Tracker and Prayer Regeneration Helper. Ooh, what's going on? Where did I start? Okay. Oh, this is an easy wave anyway, but yeah, so those are the two plugins we're using for this run. The Prayer Regen Helper is just the one that shows us on the screen the prayer regen thing, just so we don't forget. And Tzhaar HP Tracker is the one that makes the monster turn red. It's just so we know when we can click the next monster, or at the end of the wave, when we know we can click the start tile to get ready for the next wave. So I'll show you for example here. So as soon as we see the red, we can click our Kodai, click the start tile, make sure we have the right prayer on, and then make sure we click our Ice Barrage. And so that's like pretty much the start for every single wave, pretty much, including the later ones. So yeah, I mean, sounds kind of weird, but if you're getting bored by this point, it's probably a good thing, because this is meant to be a very, very easy guide, so not really a whole lot going on, to be honest. Really meant to be a minimal effort type thing, so I hope that is what is going on. So yeah. So as always, we're going to get ready to Ice Barrage. Always want to make sure the right prayer's on. So that blob's gonna see us and gonna eventually do damage to us, so here we're just gonna kill the ranger. The way you can think of the blob is it's not an immediate danger, but it will do chip damage to you, so that's kind of the same thing with the monsters in the later waves as well. When you have the tank gear on, it's not that you're invincible, but you'll definitely take a little bit less chip damage than you would otherwise. So here we're just doing a rare prayer change to protect from melee, but obviously not something we're gonna do too commonly. So back to prayer range again. Our main go-to prayer on these early waves. So once again, start tile, one Ice Barrage, assess the situation here. So looks like easiest way is probably, I hate this situation because this is a weird situation where you're actually safe from the melee here. So this is kind of a weird situation. But we're just going to pretend we're not safe from the melee. So we'll just do a different solve. So how about freezing the melee? We'll just tank the blob for a little bit. Chances are we're going to kill this melee long before the blob does any damage to us. As I say that, it starts hitting us. Oh, my boy. Stop hitting us. Stop it. Oh my god, stop hitting. Okay, it's fine. Honestly, we're probably just gonna brew up. So yeah. It's one thing I just can't emphasize enough. Do not conserve your brews too much, because you will regret it. Believe me. Don't ask me how I know. But actually, come to think of it, we're kind of conserving our brews now, so that's kind of not what I said. Okay, hold on. We'll freeze that. We're just gonna heal. We're healing off of stuff. Use your brews, though. I don't know. I'm being a very bad example by not using my brews. Use your brews. If you're like sub 60 HP, just automatically brew. The worst case scenario is that you use a little too much and then you have to kind of just adjust from there going forward. But I would try not to worry too much about overusing supplies. It's kind of what they're there for in the first place. Always love killing the blob behind the ranger. It's just a really satisfying thing. And also, the other reason you shouldn't be upset about using a brew is, as you can see, only my mage is boosted. So actually my defense is not even boosted right now. Using a Tzhaar brew would boost it all the way to 120, which actually is quite a big bonus. So for this method in particular, actually it's really not bad to just use a brew dose kind of at random. As weird as it sounds. Wave 31, got 2 blobs here, so we gotta kind of make a decision somewhat quick. I don't want to be tanking 2 blobs, so I moved to the north side of the pillar. Now we're only tanking 1 blob, but we're just going to Blood Barrage this here. Blood Barrage or Eye of a Yak, either one would be kind of fine here. Probably about similar. Alright, here we'll send a whole brew here. I'm not going to even hesitate. And then we can try to freeze this bad boy. That's not what I meant to do. Okay, this is getting overly complicated. This is not what I wanted for wave 31. Stop. Just die. I should just be Eye of a Yakking it. It's gonna unfreeze and kill me. Alright. Do something safer than that, how about? Yeah, just be safer than that. Just eat another brew if you have to. Just not a good example there. Be careful. But regardless, we got through a hard wave, so can't complain too much. It wasn't as clean as I would have liked, but not the end of the world. And we are getting towards the first waves where we're going to be using our tank armor soon, not quite. And obviously here you can consider brewing, but we're past the hard wave. 31's really the hardest. Here we'll just freeze this melee. Notice how I'm always focused on the melees that are spawning northwest, and the reason why is because those are the only two, there's 2 spawns here and here, and those are the only 2 melee spawns that are going to reach me from the wave 1 to 49 start tile that I'm on. So anything south is always going to get trapped in the pillar just like this melee that I just killed is. So it's pretty chill. There's not that many things to pay attention to as you might think. So that's what I'm kind of trying to show. So it's the things you have to worry about on the early waves are blobs, which are the biggest threat to you on the early waves. And then secondarily the rangers. Meleers. Sorry, I'm not even speaking right. Meleers. That's the one. Okay, so regardless though, we are chilling. Just really excited about this method, man. I don't know, it's something about it. I think just the accessibility and just the chillness of it. It kind of turns the Inferno from like a pure mechanical challenge into a purely logical one, and something about that is very, very satisfying for me. So I'm a very, very big fan of this method. And you know, this is funny because I never thought I'd be making videos of any method remotely like this, but I don't know, it's turning out to be really, really fun, so. I can wholeheartedly say, you know, also just to mention, I have done this a lot now. Like, believe me, this is not even like, this is not by far, like, I've done so many of these at this point, and I'm pretty confident in saying I think this is the best first cape method. I know that sounds like a bold statement, but especially coming from the person himself who has made a lot of, whoa, I didn't put my pre-mage on. Okay, guys, don't forget, wave 35 is the first mage, so don't forget pre-mage. Alright, so going forward, the most important thing is making sure we have the right prayer on and the right gear on. This wave is an exception because it's just a mage, so here we can just keep our Virtus on. But from now on, it should be noted that even in our tank gear, we're still going to hit pretty fine against the mages and pretty much everything else, so you really don't have to play as if you're going to splash. I know it sounds kind of weird, but it's true, so I'll show you what I mean going forward, but here we'll just re-heart, we get one barrage here. Here we can just back up to the safe spot for the bat. Drag this mage in, of course, and no need to switch to our Virtus. Obviously, if you wanted to, you could save a tiny bit of time by switching to Virtus every time it's possible to, but it kind of goes against the whole like chillness of the run, so I highly recommend just camping your tank gear as much as you can. This is gonna just make it easier. It also means at the end of the wave you have less switches to do to get ready for the next wave, so overall just making your job easier in every way pretty much. So mage gear is only for healing when it's completely safe, or the only other reason you would use mage gear is if you kill the mage, what you might notice is when the mage is dead, this is just like a non-mage wave, right? It's like, this is like a wave with one bat. So I could just put my Virtus back on and it's like the beginning again. But then I just have to remember to put my other gear back on after. It's a little confusing. We might see that more come the later waves, but especially the 50 plus waves. For example, the 50 plus waves are mage, range, and then commonly like other stuff. So if you kill the mage first on those waves, then you can very easily just put your Virtus on, pray range, and just pretend like it's one of the earlier range waves, if that makes any sense. Because we've already solved those, basically. But if there's a major, you just put the tank gear on. Your general like reaction on a typical wave should be put your Eye of a Yak on, and the reason why is because it keeps your crystal shield on, which gives not only huge range defense, but also gives you a lot of melee defense as well for the meleeer. So the crystal shield being on is really, really helpful. This is kind of an annoying situation, just like annoying spawn spots. So here we're just gonna kill the blob. Killing the blob first is something that in a normal cape you'd really not recommend, or you wouldn't see recommended a lot, but with this strategy it's very, very good, and even recommended in some cases like this one. And it might respawn it, but not much we can do. And I mean, I guess we could have technically ran all the way to the east behind the major, if it makes sense. Like we could have ran all the way there, but I couldn't be bothered. Just killing a blob is usually a pretty good play. Not trying to overcomplicate things here, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, I always say it around this wave, and I'm not really sure why, but it always comes to mind. I just wanted to say thank you guys if you're watching at this point. Thank you for watching. I love making these videos for you guys, so thank you for being here, and I hope this is helpful, and I think it's just, I don't know, this is just like a really cool method. I'm like really having a lot of fun doing this, so I hope someone out there is like, I like to imagine in the future, like someone out there is like trying my method and it's just like, oh my god, this is amazing. That's kind of like my dream for this, is like to inspire someone in the future. So hopefully, we'll see though. But anyway, for now, we'll just try to give the best guide we can. So let's see. Here, we can always take our time here. It's kind of ironic. you might think, so these blobs were really scary on the earlier waves, but now we're praying Mage and we're wearing our tank gear and our crystal shield, so now they're very, very unlikely to hit us, as you can see. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna kill this bat here. And as you can see, not a lot of thought really put into this. I'm kind of just doing what's safe-ish and then healing when I need to. So I'm gonna kill this mage and then we're just gonna heal up off of everything. And the blob we're gonna Eye of a Yak because it's a little better to Eye of a Yak the blob rather than Blood Barrage it, just because Blood Barrage lacks the DPS. Blood Barrage is very nice though, it is very nice to be able to heal. It's just that against the blob you'll tend to take a bit more damage because the blob is pretty accurate. So Mage Prey on. For the blob, your gear and your prayer should always like mismatch, if that makes sense. So it should always be either tank gear and pray mage or mage gear and pray range. Those are your two options for blobs. Typically on the mage waves, I tend to do this just because it keeps me in the gear that I'm gonna need to be in for the next wave. But on the earlier waves, I tend to be in the Virtus, of course. So we're going to get ready for one barrage. If we take too much damage on any wave, we can always use our brews. We don't have to be afraid to use our brews. And it's fine to just camp Blood Barrage sometimes if you want to be lazy. It's pretty fine in terms of DPS, and sometimes you just need the healing and it makes it a lot easier and more chill. So Blood Barrage is a huge asset in this kind of strategy because we will be taking some RNG hits here and there, but being able to Blood Barrage all the health back is a huge benefit. So our prayer regen's about to run out. We get the message here, so we're gonna sip the prayer regen. And if we're too low HP at the end, we can always use a brew, especially keeping in mind that it gives us the defense boost, so that's always nice as well. So make sure right prayer on. Here we got two blobs on us. I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but this tile we can cast on the nibblers here, but kind of not as relevant in this specific case, but as you can see, with all that tank gear on, we're pretty tanky against the blobs on these waves, as opposed to the range waves where the blobs were actually a little bit scarier, kind of ironically. So now that we're on the later waves, we're actually wearing our tank gear and the blobs are not as big of a deal. Okay, you know what? I just decided it's science time. We're going to see if we just kill these blobs straight up, how much HP are we gonna net? So we're at 77. So if we just like straight up, I think here we'll pray augury fine. If we pray augury, we just kill these and just don't really think about it. What happens? This is like one of the only augury situations, by the way. Okay, augury off. Don't want to keep augury on for too long. It drains a lot of prayer, so only use it in niche situations. Stop hitting me. It's okay. So this is a double blob wave, so you tend to get hit in double blob waves anyway, and the waves after double blob waves tend to be easier. I wouldn't say easy, but definitely easier than the double blob wave, because this one melee is nothing compared to two blobs. Like, look, oh, there you go, we dealt with the melee. So only thing we have to watch out for is the melee respawning, which could be kind of annoying. If it does, we can just move closer to the green start tile. I definitely can't wait to see the 50 plus waves, and then obviously 60 plus is going to be a lot of fun too, where the strategy is really put to the test for sure. So there, we just took a hit from the melee. That's okay. Not very likely to hit us. Main thing is we don't want to take a mage hit no matter what, so try to prioritize never taking a mage hit. We have our tank gear on, so if something else hits us, it's not the end of the world. It's probably not going to hit. Of course it can hit, so, you know, be ready to use your brews if you have to. And you probably should be a little bit more liberal using your brews than I am. I'm just gonna be completely upfront about that. I have a very bad habit of not using my brews. So try to use your brews. The thing is, learners tend to have, and it's not their fault, like I understand the reason, but learners tend to have a skewed perspective of how many supplies they need to finish the Inferno. So they tend to want to conserve their supplies, but really it's not necessary for the most part. Of course it's good to conserve a little bit when you can, but the thing is, it's way better to not die than to die, of course. Especially if you're really late in the Inferno. You don't want to die on like the 60s because you didn't brew. You know, definitely not. But even on like a wave 48 or something, you know, that could be a difficult wave. So here, I just want to show, just because, just very fundamental things. Melee can get trapped on this south side of the pillar here. So don't forget about that. The fundamental things still come into play here. So always remember where you can trap these meleeers. It's very good. So this south side and then also the west side. So going this way. And then also the start tile to start tile trick. So this tile, and then if it digs, you go here. That's like the start tile trick, I'll call it. Kind of just not really caring about the bats hitting us at all. It's kind of whatever. Here we do want to heal actually. I'm kind of forgetting to, but we do want to be 99 HP. That's another thing, like if you're watching this and you're trying to learn, try to make sure you're healing all the way to 99 when you can. That's gonna just help your consistency a ton. And consistency is the name of the game here, especially when using a strategy like this. But as you can see, we've not done any flicking yet, which is kind of incredible when you think about it. I mean, it is the freaking Inferno. We're wave 45 in the Inferno, so you'd figure we would have flicked something by now, but here we are. Alright, start tile to start tile. Melee is trapped. We are good. All we gotta do is keep up the chill solves. Next thing you know, we'll be wave 65. Next thing you know, we'll be done with Tzhaar. And there you go. Alright, so here we'll probably just kill the blob. That seems like the most straightforward. That was kind of troll. It's fine though. It's funny, you can just do so many silly things with this and it works out. It's something, I don't know, this is a really special method, I don't know. Make sure we have the right prayer on, right gear on, and then make sure we get an ice barrage, which I kind of almost messed up there. Here, a little trick we can do is if you freeze the meleeer here, you can simply step one tile south, corner trapping the melee. Here we'll actually keep the crystal shield on because of the stuff we're tanking. So we kill the melee first just so we don't have to worry about it anymore. And we kill the bat, and then we can kill the mage here. So we're just kind of killing what we can safely. Here we'll actually just heal up off of Major, I guess. The thing is, the mage is probably going to respawn stuff for us to heal of anyway, as it does. As you can see, we got to be careful because when we're in our mage robes and we're praying mage, the range attack from the blob is going to tend to hit us. So that is something to be careful of. But as you can see in this gear setup, one of the craziest things is that you can just heal up off of a mage, which is kind of crazy. Hoping I kill it before the melee goes on me, but I was hoping I didn't have to change weapons. Okay, there we go. Wow, this thing is staying under me a long time. You see, if you just don't panic, a lot of times you're fine. Wow. Okay, I was just like waiting to see how long it would take it there. It was kind of crazy. So here, because we're in our mage gear, this is just like the early waves. Remember when we were dealing with the blobs in the early waves, we just pray range. But we just have to remember to change our gear and our prayer back after the wave because we are on the mage waves, obviously. Don't forget where you are in the waves. So here, gear on, prayer on, ice barrage ready, start tile. And don't panic change your prayer. You might change your prayer to range here by accident, and it would actually be a mistake. The reason why it would be a mistake... The reason why it would be a mistake is because if you change your prayer to range, the blob would be maging you on your tank gear. So it's kind of weird. You have to remember which gear you're using versus which prayer you're using. The easy shortcut is just to remember if you're using tank gear, you put pray mage on, and then if you have the robes on, you put pray range on. But you have to be careful. Like, be careful using your robes. If you're ever unsure, just staying in the tank gear is totally fine. Like here, for example, I could be using Virtus, but just making sure I'm already in my gear for next wave, which is pretty much always a good thing. Again, we could do like the Virtus and pray range, but I'm just gonna the pray mage one here. Make sure your gear matches up with your protection prayer, if that makes sense. So this is probably the best against the blob. Nice, we got a Phantom Barrage that gives us some extra health back. And we start off full HP for 48, which is considered a pretty hard wave, although with this strategy it's arguably easier than 31, I would say. Alright, we got a good spawn, so that's a good thing. So all we're going to do here is very simply, we're going to kill the blob north of the pillar here. And now we're pretty much safe, because now we can just deal with the melee on its own. One way we can do this, just a cool fancy way, is we step one up, dragging the melee up, and then we step one down. It's like a little fancy way we can solve that. And this way it can't dig because it's attacking us. We could also move here and stop it attacking us again if we wanted to, but there's no need really. And we're just camping our overhead anyway, so it doesn't matter. No need to conserve prayer on this setup. Look, we still have 8 brews left. I mean, I think that's kind of my fault. I probably should have used them a little more. My bad for being stingy with the brews. I kind of always do this. I don't know. I'm very stingy with my brews. We have a restore on the ground. I gotta keep that in mind too. Alright, so we're gonna test this. We're just gonna kill these and see what happens. How much health do we end if we just kill these and take the damage? So I'm gonna do a strat where I just keep killing the blob until I take damage, and then I'll blood barrage the minis. There we go. Cool. Alright, nice and easy. So as you can see, the name of the tile is 1 to 49 start, and this is 49, so next tile, or next wave we get a new start tile. Don't know what I was trying to say. So here, the melee gets corner trapped if you're on like a corner, like if you're here or on the tile 2 east of me, you're typically gonna corner trap anything that's in that corner, but if you're unsure, don't panic. I mean, that's like the main like takeaway from this video. If you take anything away from this video, it's use this setup and don't panic and use your brews. That's pretty much like the ultra TLDR. This is just satisfying. Yeah, it was pretty satisfying. I like that one. Alright, so wave 50 plus, obviously make sure all our gear is on, make sure we have Ice Barrage at the ready. Here, I just move here because I noticed that only the mage can see me on this side, so it's kind of a natural solution. The only problem is we do have to drag the mage in, so we're gonna take a range hit here. The reason I took a range hit isn't because I had to, it's just because I want to show that even if you don't, like here for example, like you might not be comfortable with like going around the corner as fast as I usually do, so I'm just trying to show a very simple way. Even if you tank a range hit, you're probably not gonna take damage. Not to mention you can heal up off of the ranger at the end, so also you can heal off of this major too, so there's like infinite stuff to heal off of basically. So don't worry too much. Brews are for, you want to use your brews if you're in a sticky situation. You don't want to die because you don't use a brew. That being said, you have a lot of stuff to heal off of, so don't panic too much. So here we just simply get to 99 HP and then we'll be ready for the next wave. And these two potions on the top, I put them on the top next to each other because these are both just for Tzhaar, so I just wanted to keep them organized. Again, make sure we have the right prayer on, make sure the Kodai's on, which it wasn't. We can just chill for a second. This looks pretty obvious what we're gonna do here. Here, we're gonna actually sip a brew, and the reason why is mostly just for this 120 defense boost. That's gonna come in handy for these 50 plus waves, so it's kind of weird. Sometimes you might think of the brews as you don't want to waste them, but in this case, it's actually like you do want to waste it, because wasting a dose, like you're wasting a dose of healing, but you're actually getting the defense boost, which is very, very helpful. Especially given the strategies we're using, if you think of it that way. I thought that was dead. The plugin tricked me. So you have to be careful. The plugin can kind of trick you sometimes, and sometimes it didn't even show us there, so you do have to be a little careful. I still recommend it because, especially at the end of the wave, I'll just show you like what I'm talking about one more time. If you see this red thing, you can automatically start getting ready for the next wave. It's like once you see red, you just start getting ready for the next wave, essentially, is the brain off way to do it. Alright, let's do this in a particular way to be educational. Alright, so we have a mage range stack. This is actually like the hardest one to do, so we're doing like the harder one first. So, tips for this. If there's a stack like this is one of the only situations where you augury. So, if the mage is in front, notice my compass is upside down, by the way, so this is east, we're on the east side. So augury on, we're going to freeze the mage on the east side. It might take a couple of tries, so just be aware of that. So there we got it first try. You want to move to this spot here, and we have to move out one. You can pray range if you want, but you don't have to. And then go back. So it's like this tile where we barrage the nibblers from, go out one and back in. So I know it's like a little complicated, but that's an important thing to know because that's how you basically destack a mage front, mage range stack. With ranger, it's actually easier. If ranger's front, you freeze the ranger on the other side. So it's actually, they'll actually end up in the same orientation as they are now, which is interesting. Nothing crazy, just healing back to full, as you do. Tank gear remains on just for pure safety. Return to the right tile, make sure our prayer's on, the gear's already good. And we'll get one barrage off here. Right here, we'll just go for the pillar save. We don't have like anything too risky on this wave, so we may as well. Yeah, and if you're falling asleep by this point, I'm sorry, but that's kind of the whole point of the video because this is supposed to be a very easy method, so listen, if this is getting boring, maybe that's a good thing. Honestly, I mean this truthfully, if you're getting bored of this video, that's probably a good thing. That probably means you should go into the Inferno now, because you're probably ready. If you're bored of the video, if you're not bored of the video, then I'm also happy. So, yeah. So win-win. Alright, of course we're simply getting to 99 HP, as we always do at the end of every wave. And no panicking at the start of waves is the main goal. Augury is pretty much never needed. We're using it very, very sparingly. Okay, funny enough, so we have the same stack, and it's actually basically the same. Think. Is it? No, I think it is. Okay, hold on. Alright, so again, we're on... It's kind of hard to imagine because it's like... So imagine we're on this side and the monsters are on this side. We just did that. This is like the same thing, but it's on the other side. So here we pray Augury. Freeze this. Now we have to go back pretty far. I just go back all the way. It has to do with line of sight here. And that'll separate them. So you want to go pretty far back there. And now we have them separated. So now we're good to finish the wave. Accidentally took a ranger hit on that one. There we go. That's what I meant to do. So that's how you can destack if they're on that side. Here we're just going to simply kill the blob. No reason not to. Taking another range hit. Whoopsie. Okay, so... Oh my god, I'm taking another range hit. Okay, hold on. Let me just... I'm just gonna heal. We're just healing. Go away, bat. I don't want you. Okay, I flicked against the bat there. Okay. I broke the no prayer flick rule, but don't hurt me. I can't be bothered with this wave. I don't know. This wave is just messing with me. Doesn't matter though. The thing is, some waves are clean, some waves are not so clean. Just always start the wave the right way and try not to panic at the wave start, and you should be good. And make sure you have the right gear on as well. So here we're just pre-putting our correct gear on. We're getting ready to click that yellow tile. So we see the red box, so we can click the yellow tile. And we're gonna go Mage Spray, Kodai, Ice Barrage. So we have a ranger on us, so we're just gonna pray range. It's kind of a rare situation where we actually do change our prayer. And what do we do? This is just like super awkward. It's maybe like the most awkward spawn possible in this setup. So we're just gonna kill this. Doing this as if it's like a range wave we're putting our Virtus on. Okay, now we put our tank gear back on and we're gonna change to Prey Mage and we're gonna go around the corner. So that was a bit of a complicated wave. You don't really think of 55 as being a wave that would be complicated. Sometimes you just gotta think about it for a second. There we had plenty of time to think at least. So I highly urge you, especially if you're learning the Inferno, it's very easy to get kind of flustered and not know what to do in the moment, but try your best to just kind of stay calm and focus on what the best thing to do is. Best place to move, best thing to pray. Often you won't have to change your prayer. Sometimes you do. And you see, even if we miss a prayer, we're gonna end up fine. Sip a prayer regen. Plugin's very, very nice for that. I always used to forget the prayer regen doses, but with the plugin, it's very, very chill. Highly recommend. Alright, we're just treating this like it's a range wave, so we got the Virtus on. Just like the earlier waves. Just because it helps our DPS against the blob too. And it also makes our barrages really strong against the mini blobs too, so we end up healing a lot. Just gotta remember to change our gear back here. So gear, start tile, prayer, ice barrage. Yeah. This tile is like this tile in the corner is a good tile to default to because it usually traps this blob in the corner. Don't really know what our plan is here. I'm just gonna kill something because I don't really know. Actually, there's a trick here you can use. there's always a trick, but here's the cool trick. I mean, this is one that actually you kind of already know if you've been watching the video. So like here, it's like a line of sight thing again. So here, if we step out here, the ranger gets dragged down to the next tile. Now we can just go out this side and kill the mage. It's like similar to the thing we had to do earlier. Now we kill the blob and now we barrage the stuff. Yeah, don't worry too much about the gear switches. I'm kind of being extra right now. I just wanted to hit the fat barrage, but it's all good. Alright, so here the mage is dead. We're just gonna put our Virtus on, pray range, and treat it like a range wave. So yeah. It's mostly just because it's, on average, better for how much damage we take. Flash gain back from our barrages, but not so much there, I guess. That thing slapped us, dang. Alright, so anyway, seal the full. I mean, why not, right? Obviously, we still have all these brews that should go without saying, so, I mean, yeah. But the good thing about this is that we're not really losing much time barraging because we're in such good mage gear anyway, so that's always nice. So here we're just gonna get the right gear on, back to the start tile with our ice barrage ready. Good to just default to the corner here, and here we can try for a barrage. So that just solves that. Yeah, not too bad. For wave 57, we'll take it, you know? Oh, the ranger hit me a 41. So it looks like we're barraging back. So if the mage respawns a meleeer here, we're actually safe on this tile. That actually gets safe spotted on the pillar. As such. It's right on cue too. Probably faster to heal off of this, maybe. It doesn't really matter though. That thing is dead, as per the red box. I don't know why I did that. Even I'm getting bored here. It's not good. When I start getting bored, I mean, it's not that the method's bad. It's just that the method's too good that I'm getting bored because it's too easy. Give me the hard ways, damn it. Okay, I mean, I guess that's I'm gonna get what I asked for, I guess. Okay, actually, give me nice spawns. No kidding. All right, here we'll just kill this. Pillar is plenty high health, and you know, obviously the north pillar is by far the most important one, so this one we're not even too worried about. We'll still clear it anyway. Why not? Yeah, I'm very excited for the 60+ waves though. They're coming up. They're gonna be pretty exciting because we're gonna get to really put this method to the test, so that'll definitely be cool. Die. Oh, I missed the... Whoops, I hit Mage Pray instead of Range Pray, so I turned off my prayer instead of changing it. It's okay, we just heal. Look, it took us one barrage to fix my mistake. Alright, make sure we have Mage Spray on. Almost didn't. So here, again, if you weren't in time, you could always try to freeze this. For example, like this is like a viable solution here, just freeze that. Here we can, this is like you can pray range here, it's okay. Be careful changing your prayers too much. Alright, and be very careful also clicking the bats. It's kind of easy to like misclick on the ground next to the bats, as you can see. Like here, I'd be clicking to walk. So you can, if you want to be super safe, you can just right click attack. Something I like to do sometimes. I think we can drag the ranger out. Oh no, look. This is complicated. Now we're getting complicated. Okay, alright. Alright, now we're getting complicated. Whoops, my bad. I had to. Gotta show the tech off. But as you can see, it's really nice to be able to heal. It's like so nice for a learner cape for sure. It's just unbelievable to be able to heal whenever you want, even off of a major. I mean, because a major, when you think about it, is a 220 HP thing. So that's like, I think, isn't Blood Barrage a quarter of the health as healing or something? So I think like you heal like 55 HP or whatever off of a whole mage. It's kind of crazy. I need to use a prayer regen. Try not to forget that. It's good to always do that as soon as you can. We still have 8 brews. That's like just ridiculous. Like what even is that? And we're going into wave 60. I mean, if we need to use a brew, obviously we're going to use a brew. It goes without saying. We started with the wrong setup on, actually. It's not really good. So you see I changed my gear there. Here, we'll just go to the nib tile. We're just clearing up the north pillar. North pillar is pretty important, so... I'm thinking of like what's the easiest. Well, I'm thinking what's the easiest, but also what's the easiest to teach. So it is kind of hard. Let's yeah, I guess we'll do the Frieza melee strat. I'm a big fan of that actually. So here we go into the corner and we can just heal off of this melee now. Melees are also something you have to be careful about misclicking. Try to be careful when you click these. Sometimes you might want to right-click attack as well. But as you can see, these mages are really, really nice to heal off of in this setup. Whereas in the regular Bofa setup, you would never, ever want to heal off of these, only as like a last resort. But really, last case scenario. Worst case scenario, rather, but yeah. So here, interesting, if we kill the mage, the range gets corner trapped right here. I don't know if you can like visualize that, but mage dies, the ranger kind of slides into the corner here. Which means we can just deal with the meleeer, which is nice, hopefully, if we kill the mage. Alright, you know what, we're gonna kill the mage, kill the melee, I guess. I didn't know it was one shot, to be fair, but yeah, it works for me, you know, I'll take it. So I'll just show you what I was talking about here, not that it's relevant anymore, but this is a corner trap for the ranger here. And the same thing with the other side goes. If we go here, we can re-corner trap it by walking into the corner here. It's just a little trick you should maybe know. Might help in some niche situations. You never know. Just make sure, because we're in our Virtus right now, we changed to heal, so just make sure we switch our gear back here. And go back to the start tile, switch our prayer back, importantly. Here we can go for a second barrage. Actually, no, we won't. Oh my lord, okay. We are trying to heal. You can kind of heal off of whatever, though, in this cape. The thing is, you know what? This is just a brew moment, kind of like, especially if the blob hits me like one more time, it's definitely a brew moment. All right. We're just gonna start killing the mage here. This is a bit of a complicated situation. We can brew though, is the thing. So we have brews in our back pocket, so that's a good thing. It's like we're just kind of boosting our health back up to manage what we're dealing with here. Nice, the mage should be dead now, so that's a good thing. Stop hitting me! Oh my god, bro. This blob is destroying me. Okay, finally we get to heal up. I got like wrecked that wave, but whatever. Sometimes you just get unlucky, it'll happen. I'm kind of happy because I think I was kind of being a little stingy on the earlier waves with them, so I feel like I kind of had that one coming, I'm not gonna lie. But we just have to remember we're in our Virtus right now, so we do want to change back before the start of the next wave, so right now I guess we may as well. Prayer, start tile, ice barrage. Alright, so we're in a situation where the only things hitting us are range, and we can just pray range and kill the meleeer here. This is pretty simple. Sort of. Is it? We kind of have to kill everything though, I guess. I was like, I don't know how we're gonna deal with that on the other side. Alright, so we kill that. Kill that. Just be wary of our prayer. Like, make sure you're having the right prayer up here. And when we kill the bat, the mage is obviously gonna slide into us here, so try to be aware. The things that are going to kill you with this method is really just big logic mistakes. Like big blunders are going to kill you. You're not going to really die to just chip damage. I mean, it can happen, don't get me wrong. It can happen, don't get me wrong, but yeah. Generally speaking, you're going to be good if you have the right gear on, you're using the right prayer, and you're you know, if you're being safe with your health and brewing up when you need to generally be doing good. So we just make sure the mage is all the way dead. Don't want to change our prayer too early. Whoa. Didn't mean to take that melee, but that's fine, I guess. I think it should be dead. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so pray mage. I made sure I had the right gear on. So looks like we are going to do the same solution. We're actually going to put the Virtus on because it's going to mage us, the blob. So this is like a little confusing. You might get like, don't be too thrown off by this. I'm just trying to, I tried to read the situation. So I'm like, okay, there's a range and a blob on us. That's like the earlier ranger waves. I wouldn't panic here. I would just, so I'm going to put my tank gear on so I'm tanky. If you're feeling like worried, you can augury here to try to freeze this guy. Oh, he's in such a bad spot now. Okay. We're just going to go for the blood barrage kill with augury. I think Virtus might be the better camp here. Okay, it worked out. And a good thing to note is you can actually blood barrage the ranger from here, or a major if it was in the same spot. So we got a prayer regen, it just ran out. Could be plenty good on supplies, it looks like it. So just be careful when we walk out. We want to make sure we have the right gear and right prayer on. Don't forget what we're doing here. I'm just gonna kill everything, and then we'll just heal off of everything at the end if we need to, if it respawns. I like how these things are spawning inside of the mage. I'm just getting these like kind of crazy barrages off. I should have put the Virtus on for that. That would have been kind of sick, but it's okay. It doesn't. Whoa! Don't do that. What's going on here? Oh, it's a mage front stack. Okay, we'll just show how to do it again because why not, right? So mage front stack, go out east side. Just to reiterate, range. If the range was in the front and if say these were swapped, it's this side. So it's step out praying mage, augury, freeze the ranger on this side, and then go on the other side. That's how you do it on the, the reverse. But here we freeze this. We go up to this tile. This is like the barrage of the nibblers on the north pillar tile, and then out one and back. And that drags the ranger down here. So that's how you destack that way, and then ranger in the front, you freeze it on the other side, and that's really all there is to it. It's not too bad. And I recommend augury there just for reducing the amount of damage that you're likely to take, because it will make you take less damage on average. And also so that you have a better chance at hitting the freeze, of course, because especially on the mage, it's kind of iffy. So that was wave 63, believe it or not. I mean, it didn't really feel like it, but it was. Alright, make sure we're getting to the start tile, right gear on, right prayer on, ice barrage. So since we see only a melee or north, we'll go for the barrage and the melee. Make sure you're very careful about misclicking here, because it's very easy to misclick. As you can see though, we have a pretty good chance of freezing it, so that's a good thing. And I will show one more tech just for anyone who's interested. It's not like a super important one to know. This is definitely lower on the tier list of techs to know, but if the meleeer digs here, you can step one south of this marked, this is the Tzhaar tile, the Tzhaar safe spot tile, you can step one south of it. So if you move from the tile I was on all the way to here, it traps a melee that digs. So that's kind of useful for certain situations as well, but much more of a niche advice than my other advices so far in the video, so can be useful though, in some cases for sure. So here, for example, we can do the thing again. Alright, so 65 last, like, kind of hard wave, because maybe the 2 rangers will see us off spawn. In this setup, it's actually even less, it's not even really scary normally, but here it's really extra not scary. We got like 300 and something range defense, 329. That's kind of crazy. So until we know what situation we're in, we're just kind of chilling a little bit. Let's see. Hold on. Let me think about this. I don't know. I'm kind of like blanking out now. Can I hit this from here? Yes. All right. So we're just gonna kill this. That seems okay. All right. Now, normally, if there's a ranger in front, you freeze it on the, like, what would be the north side, like, at least orientation-wise here. So, like, this side. So I think we're gonna just try that, because I think it should still work here. So we're gonna pray Mage, we're gonna pray Augury, we're gonna step out, we're gonna Ice Barrage this. Usually the ranger's gonna get frozen on the first try, so... And here, I think if we go all the way back and step out, what happens? Okay, that didn't drag it out, so I don't know. I'm pretty sure it still should have, even though it respawned something. So maybe if it's on this side, you might have to do the same thing anyway. You might have to... If it's a stack on the west side of the pillar, I think you always have to freeze them on the south side. Alright, so let's test this theory out. Let's find out in real time. So Augury on. Oh, so, okay. Well, I guess that solves it. Okay, so there you go. Alright, so if there's a stack on the west side of the pillar, always freeze the front monster on the south side. And then you just run onto, like, this row. Hold on, let me get into a party plugin so I can... So, like, anywhere on this row, you just want to step far back, so like back here, and it's still against the pillar, so you're still safe. But just make sure you're all the way back there, and then I don't even think I had to step out in that case, so that was a pretty chill solution. I like that. And the funny thing is, as you can see, even if you don't actually know the solution, I didn't actually know the solution there. I just figured it out on the fly. A lot of times you can figure stuff out like that on the fly with this, which is really just bizarre. It's, like you could never even fathom figuring something out on the fly on like a Bofa first cape. Like if you just didn't know something, like oh, I didn't know one tick alternate, and then I just like figured it out. It's like that doesn't really happen. But here, like, you can actually just try stuff sometimes. It's kind of crazy. Here, I'm just moving to the middle because I knew it was the double mage wave. Obviously, if you weren't sure, you want to play safe. But we had some nice waves. We have plenty of supplies left, so we're looking good. I have nothing to complain about on my behalf, so hopefully we'll have a clean Jad, clean triples. Triples are probably the single hardest mechanical spot of the whole entire Inferno. I was gonna say raid. I mean, it's pretty much a raid, right? But yeah, I would say triples are where you don't want to fall asleep. I want to just mention F keys. They haven't really been necessary throughout this run, but for triple Jads, they're very helpful if you make a mistake. If you don't make any mistakes, it's really like not necessary at all. Here we can begin camping Augury because we have plenty of prayer left, and the hard part now? Well, not the hard, I wouldn't even say it's the hard part, it's just the part you don't want to be stingy on your supplies at, you know? So when the healers come out, we're just going to tag them one by one with the shadow. So this is like the most unlucky healers ever, like none of them can be barraged together, except, well, I mean, never mind, but... Alright, so anyway, we're just gonna tag them one by one, and you just make sure you keep looking at the Jad's attack in between each healer you tag. So like only tag one when you can in between Jad attacks. The Jad attack should be the first thing you think about always, basically. Oh, we're not boosted up, so we're gonna brew just to get our defense up and our health above 99, which is nice. Art is really nice for this because you can just keep repotting for free a lot. We're just going to restore just so we don't have to think about our prayer during this. And always make sure you're paying attention to which order they start in. It's not always the same order, so that's just something I would say. Make sure you're always paying attention to. So watch out for which one attacks first, and then watch out for the next attack. The hardest part here is tagging the healers while we change our prayers. The trick here, I know this sounds easier said than done, but the trick here is don't make a mistake, and then you don't have to brew up while you're doing this, because brewing up while you're doing this is not easy. So see, I'm just continuing to change my prayers. Don't have to tag the one all the way in the back because it's actually blocked by the other healer. It's just like a little minor detail. If you weren't sure, you could obviously just tag everything. Better safe than sorry. You don't want like one of the healers just healing him and you don't notice. So. And you see, I did it without even saying, but the single Jad and the triple start tile are the tiles that you start on for those two waves. Whoa. So here's a little trick we can step back to. It just traps the healer behind the other one. And it's actually the same situation as the other healers on the other Jad. This healer can't get to Jad, so it can't heal him, so we don't have to tag that one. And in fact, it's actually keeping us safe here, so that's nice. So the other one thing, just general trick, I just have to say it every video, is by the time you see the Jad's attack, so see it's Mage, as soon as I see this one is Mage, I know that I've already prayed against that one, if that makes sense. So range, and now I can already look at the next one, so range. So you can go back to the single Jad tile for this. I like to use this tile here, it's just kind of chill. But you can do whatever. Just a general tip for the healers is if you move south or north, it tends to trap them. So if there were, I'm just saying, for example, if there were two healers on me right now, say there was this one and there was one to like the east of me, I could simply move one tile south like that and it would trap them on each other. And if they still weren't trapped, I could just move one more tile and then they'd be trapped on each other. So try not to panic, just move north or south if there's more than one healer on you is basically the TLDR. In this case, it wasn't necessary. I just wanted to show that. All right, we're gonna brew up all the way because we're preparing for the beginning of Tzhaar. So we're just gonna like pre-heal for Tzhaar. We are going to restore, and we have to use a Forgotten Brew and also a stamina. We're just gonna pot everything up here. So the Forgotten Brew is because we're still on our imbued heart timer, so we can't re-imbue heart yet, but we want to be boosted for Tzhaar. So that's what that's for. The Eye of a Yak, it's good to Eye of a Yak spec at the beginning here. It doesn't do crazy, like it's not like insane or anything. It's not gonna make or break, really, as you'll hopefully see here, because we didn't even end up hitting anything, but Just make sure, so for the beginning part of Zuck, you want to make sure you're getting to the next safe spot. So it's like, as soon as you see that attack animation start, you can automatically, I'm just showing you the earliest you can move here just for demonstrative purposes. So it's like there, I can already like run to the next safe spot. Here I can just stay all as long as I want until it attacks. And then same with here, I can stay until it attacks. I, for some reason, forgot that the set was spawning, so let's do that. Little trick, you can hit the ranger with shadow from here. So there we actually avoided all damage, which is kind of nice. Now the downside is that we did end up taking a bit more shield damage than we would like. It should be okay though. I will say, man, I don't like this example of Zuck because I would have preferred like something safer. That was kind of crazy. Like, I don't expect people to be able to like not miss ticks and perfectly kill the ranger like that. So I think the better solution would be tag both of them and then put the tank gear on. So like the tank gear is your key to safety in both the waves and even on Zuck for the sets. So I'll try to definitely show that. Whoa, okay. So that was also the earliest you could step off, just saying. So the reason we pre-stamina going into Zuck is because now we don't have to worry about our stamina for the whole rest of the fight. We just chill and we know we're infinite on the run energy. I'm pretty sure we could even be 1 agility and we'd still be fine. I don't know why I hit this mage more too. I'm playing like a little bit sloppy, which for the waves was kind of the point. For Zuck wasn't really the intention, so I'm gonna try to focus up a little bit here. Try to keep it clean. If the Jad spawns here, we want to tag the Jad ASAP. That way he doesn't hit the shield that already took kind of a lot of damage. And we want to just keep moving between the safe spots. The safe spots remain the same all the way until Zuck healers. And we just make sure we reheart. I forgot that it ran out there, so make sure we do that. Here the healers are going to spawn. We can prepare for that. The nice thing here is the Virtus actually gives quite a bit of defense against the melee attacks of the healers, so I don't know, it's easy to think of the robes as being like squishy or low defense, but they're actually quite good. Against melee at least, not against range. Whoa. You didn't see that, okay? Alright, just make sure we're potted. We're gonna hit the prayer regen, and I'm gonna do the safest method, which is waiting for a set. So I'm just gonna explain pretty quickly. We're gonna end up waiting for the set. So what I mean by that is 240 HP is when the healers spawn. The worst case scenario is that we're dealing with a set when the healers spawn. That's not good. I'm just trying to like take pieces of gear off so I don't hit or something. I don't know. I don't want to hit too hard. I don't think oh no, I can't max that actually, so I think it should be fine. I was thinking, okay, there we go. That should be good. So now it's 260. We definitely don't want to hit it. We'll actually just put our tank gear on. We're going to deal with the set the best we can this time. So as you can see, we have, let's see, 5 brews and a dose. So that's plenty to tank sets. I mean, like, that's a lot of brews. 5 brews is a lot of... We're 114 HP and 5 brews. So, okay, just to like reiterate, what I'm showing you right now, this is the safe method. If you don't know what really is going on with like the sets or anything, this is what you do. You wait right before 240. Don't hit 240 because that's when healers come. That's not good. And we just keep running between the safe spots until the set spawns. So our next goal is we're gonna tag both of the set monsters. So we're gonna tag the mage, tag the range, kill the range, heal all the way to full, and then it'll be time to do the healers. That's always fun. And healers are going to be using the Eye of a Yak because that's the fastest weapon, so we can tag them as fast as possible, and they'll heal Zuck for less because they've... The faster you tag them, the faster they stop healing Zuck. Also, at this point, you might notice we've been waiting for so long for the set that we probably could have just... Or not probably, but we definitely could have just done the healers by now. But it's okay to be safe. Just try to think of it like, if we proc the healers, could we have finished them before the set spawned, whenever that is going to happen? Which should be soon. Yeah, we're just chilling though. We can hit a stamina just so we don't have to worry about it. I don't think we're gonna run out anyway, but just so we don't have to worry about it. You don't want to be thinking about that during healers. I'm just doing that because I know it can hit it from that far. I'm not panicking at all here. I'm just waiting for the next Zuck hit so I can use Eye of the Yak. There you go. So the shadow can hit from that safe spot, but not the eye. Oh, and I haven't even had Augury on, so that's... Okay. Alright. So because we got hit, we're just going to heal up as much as we can. We'll actually heal all the way to 115. Don't want to start healers anything under 115 in my opinion. Alright, so we'll try to proc here. Make sure we have our mage gear on, that's also important. So you want to try to count the ticks the best you can. I know it's hard when you're under pressure, but try to hit every 3 ticks with the Eye of a Yak. The faster you kill the healers, the faster you'll stop taking damage. So the first step is making sure you're starting healers with high HP. The second step is making sure you kill them as fast as possible. I almost ran in front of the shield there, but not quite, so we're good. Here we will brew up. Made a misclick there, almost fatal misclick, but we're still alive. And here the safe spots are not necessarily safe, so be very careful here not to overstep. The corner is the farthest that you'll have to go. Some people recommend going one step further than the corner just so that you dodge the fireballs from the healers, but I find that a little bit too complicated for a first cape in my opinion. So I don't really like to recommend that. I think really just going into the marked tile is probably the best. So see here, like you could step more into the corner. That's what I was trying to talk about, but I really need to not die during this. That would be kind of nice to not die. Also, we could use the Eye of a Yak spec, but I'm just trying not to overcomplicate. So just for the record, we definitely could have sent the healers before waiting for the second set, but we decided just to be safe. And by be safe, I mean, when you have plenty of supplies like I had in this run, like I had like 5 or 6 brews still left, and I still have 3 restores. I don't know how I still have 3 restores. That is absurd to me. Like, you might be looking at this and being like, wow, those brews are like crazy. How does he have so much healing left? I'm looking at this like, how do I have 3 restores and a dose of rare regen left? Like, that does not make sense. I don't get that, but... Can I hit, please? It'd be nice if I could hit. Just make sure we keep stepping behind the... I almost said pillar. I mean, basically. Same thing, right? So I'm not automatically running to the next spot because it's not necessarily safe, but sometimes I can tell just by the timing that I'm going to be safe. Like here, I know I can run a little bit ahead. Like here, it's going to attack kind of close to the next safe spot. You can just kind of tell by eyeballing it. Same thing here. You just got to be very careful, of course. So there's the next set. I'm just going to show you how to deal with another set. Whoa, whoa, not like that. Oh my god. Oh my god, not like that. Hold on. I'm making mistakes. Oh shit. Don't kill it. Oh my god. Okay, well, I mean, That's how you would deal with another set. Oh my god, this is such like a shit example. Excuse my language, but oh my god. All right, and we're hitting Zuck with the tank gear still on. I mean, see, it was good though that we did change the tank gear though. So that's good. I don't know why I saw the ranger and I'm like, I'll just pray against it. Well, there you go. There's another example of the Mage Tank Inferno. Zuck was not the cleanest. I'm gonna fully admit that just right away. Not the best Zuck. But look at how many potions we had left over. So I will say, like, good on the potions. I mean, yeah, like 2.5 of each is actually kind of a ridiculous amount of leftovers. So obviously you might need to use more brews during the waves, but yeah, and also, I mean, I think the biggest thing to mention just in hindsight is that Zuck waiting for the healers, probably the wrong play. So just something to keep in mind. If you're using the setup, you probably don't have to wait for healers, but I would keep in mind if you're, you know, if you're struggling to not miss ticks, then probably just wait for the healers, because it's better to be safe than sorry. If, you know, if your Zuck was looking similar to mine, then I think I had an extra minute or so. You probably just check the actual time on the video. So like check from the time I say I'm going to start waiting for healers, which is like whenever Zuck was 260, and then, you know, however long it took to spawn the set, which I think was like probably 1.5 minutes. So probably had plenty of time. But regardless, there's another example. I'm glad to show you another example. I had so much fun recording the last one that I did want to show you guys another example in case people were interested in this method. I think it's probably the best current method. I think this is the new meta for learning the Inferno. So it feels weird to say that as like the definitive. Well, I don't want to say the, but like I'm kind of the Bofa guy. Like I've made a lot of Bofa guides at this point. So it's kind of weird coming from me, but hopefully you understand the sincerity of that statement. Like I really think this is the best method. Just so good on the early waves and so safe on the late waves, and no need to flick, no need for any stacks. Like just really nice method. So yeah, there it is. Yeah, we've done it again. Round 2 complete. Hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I'm just happy to do another Inferno for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. Leave a comment if you enjoyed this, or like what you think of this method, I guess, because I'm interested to see what you guys think about it. I think this is a totally crazy method. So yep, that's about all from me, and I will see you in the next video. And peace.